Hey guys, Booligan here with Booligan Airsoft and Airsoft Insider. Today, taking a look at a normal, boring hi-capa, except it's not a normal, boring hi-capa at all. It's two normal, boring hi-capas, and that makes it not very boring at all. This is the AW Custom, or Armor Works Custom Double Barrel 1911, even though it is not strictly a 1911. It's more of a 2011, because it is a hi-capa double stack design. So it's a double stack. An in and out special, that could work. We'll call it a quad stack, because that's pretty awesome. What's the point of this thing? First question many of you guys are going to be asking. I really don't have an answer for that. It looks really tremendously cool. When you want to pump some iron, just bring this. Leave your weights at home. You'll get some sick gains if you pump one of these guys. Does it offer anything other than being big and bulky? I mean, performs pretty well. We'll take a look at that full performance in another video, but we'll do some chrono testing with this today and see how it shoots. But what it does is it looks cool, and it is intimidating on the field, and it is a double tap machine. You pull the trigger once, you get 2 shots at once. So basically, if you have someone who's not calling their hits, this is a nice mechanism to get them to do that. Will most fields allow this? Most likely, because it's not full auto. I know there's some fields that require semi-auto only, and this, strictly speaking, may kind of trip their radar a little bit and may prohibit you from actually bringing this onto the field, so it's something to keep an eye out. But I was sent this from Evike.com, and we're going to be taking a little bit closer look at it on the bench. Okay, now that we have it on our mat, I was also sent one of these by Evike. It is an Umbrella Armory and EMG Tech mat, and I like this a lot, mainly because it helps keep small things from rolling away. Let's take a look at some of the features of this. First off, you've got the magazine, which is massive. It is 2 double stack magazines, but it's molded together in one piece. You have 1 gas fill valve on the bottom and 2 valves. So strictly speaking, you could actually do some funky stuff by putting like a high output valve on one side and a low output on the other. I wouldn't recommend that. Don't do that. It's a terrible suggestion. When I first got my mag, it was actually quite leaky. This whole bottom plate, you remove this butt, the magazine butt protector, I guess, impact protector, and there's a large square O-ring that is connecting this to this, and 2 screws. That O-ring was dry as a bone. So if you have a leaky one of these, take this off, undo the 2 screws, remove that base, and then just get some silicone lube and soak that O-ring a little bit, and now it holds gas perfectly. About the gun itself, this is the black model, obviously. It is black except for a few gold flourishes, and the barrels are a polished stainless look, and the hammers are chromed as well. You have ambidextrous controls either side, and then you also have ambidextrous, not really ambidextrous, you just have dual beaver tail safeties, and you have to be pressing them both down. So if you are pressing just one down, pull the trigger, it won't go. Press both of them down, you only need to pull one trigger, and the gun will fire. There's no way to just fire one or the other. It will only fire both at the same time. You can see that it's, contrary to popular belief, it's not 2 hi-capas glued together. Everything is machined as one piece. It's kind of, they took the 3D model versions and kind of smushed them together and went from there. Let's go ahead and disassemble this. Haven't done this before, so I may run into some hiccups, but I doubt it. So you have an extended slide release lever. That guy slides off the front. This thing is hilarious. So inside you have 2 separate hop-up adjusters. Hop up one high, hop up the other one low if you feel like it. But probably don't do that because you probably won't hit anything that way. As this is an Armor Works gun, there are some parts that are compatible with Tokyo Marui. There are other parts that are not. But luckily Armor Works does have almost all the spare parts available for these available on stores like Evike.com. However, just know that you may not be able to just pick up an off-the-shelf part and make it work. Some things are a little different. But yeah, the whole thing is just doubled. You have double recoil assemblies, double barrels. Let's try to disassemble this guy. Let's take a look at the barrel assemblies. So these first, you got nice bushing, full metal with a buffer and a pretty good strength spring. The barrel, that explains why there's basically no wobble in the barrel, because it is just one barrel. It's actually one piece that is molded together, and I think it's supposed to slide out the front. There we go. So there's your barrel assembly. You see one big double barrel setup, and then you have your individual inner barrel and hop-up units, which need to... I have to struggle getting these guys out a little bit. I always have issues, because you have to unscrew that, and that's right. So I have to take a small screwdriver to unscrew those. We'll take a look at that in a later vid. But yeah, so you've got no barrel wobble, obviously, because the two barrels are connected. That's enough of the upper. And the lower, you have this dual standard fire control setups. You have a very large hooped trigger. If you know anything about triggers and HiCapas in 1911s, you know they're just a little hoop basically that goes around the magazine. This has a very wide one. So really the triggers are just connected, one big piece, but with two individual but linked fire systems. So inside this thing is really not terribly complicated. It's just two HiCapas put together in one. I guess that means double the maintenance, double the lube, things like that when you are shooting it, but also double the fun. Now, get back together. I can already tell you that adjusting the hop up is going to be a bit of a pain because you're going to have to do it twice, but hopefully you're using the same weight BB in each side of the magazine so that when one is dialed in, the other one should be about the same. Let's talk a little more about where I got this, where you can get it and see if it is the right gun for you. Okay, let's try to chronograph this thing. I'm actually almost out of gas, so this may not give us the most consistent readings, but it should give us an idea of what it's shooting. .356. 350. Let's do one more just to get a... Yep, like I thought. Got a nice little gas drop there because of the low gas pressure. Let's see if we can put a couple more rounds through this and see how it looks. Just like that. Slide locks back on empty. This thing has crazy good recoil and definitely has a lot of weight throwing that slide behind. Yeah, definitely an interesting gun. Let's talk a little more about it. As you can see, some of the features and quirks of this feature-packed and very, very quirky gun. Whether it is the right gun for you, that is going to be the million-dollar question. This thing is undeniably cool. It is also extremely heavy, extremely hard to holster because, well, it's much bigger than any holster that I've ever seen. It's a little difficult to use if you have normal sized hands. I've got pretty big hands, so I can get pretty good purchase on this and reach the trigger. You know, thankfully you only have to pull one of the triggers, but you do have to press down both of the beaver tail safety. So you have to have good size webbing in the back of your hand to make this work. But otherwise, it's just a cool item. It's a conversation piece. I mean, maybe get two of these and quad wield and go totally crazy out on the field. But if you're looking for just your normal average sidearm, probably not going to be the best choice. Honestly, something like this, the Salient Arms 2011 DS, also made by Armor Works, is a very good option for a slightly more normal sidearm. But if you're like me and you don't like to do things normally at all, this is the gun for you. Many thanks to Evike for sending this over for us to test out, and many thanks to you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos of this thing in action coming very soon.